Hey, welcome back, Rankers. Well, that was an interesting week, wasn't it? Wow. Um, so that presidential election that happened last week, a couple of interesting things. Uh, it turns out that Google Trends has predicted the outcome of the US presidential elections since 2004, since it's been publishing data. And if you haven't used Google Trends, you really should. I use it a lot more than I would, say, the AdWords Keyword Planner tool because it gives me more granularity. It allows me to see things like plurals, which the AdWords tool won't allow you to do, and also past tense and things like that, whereas AdWords would tend to group them all together. So I was watching the election last Wednesday in Australian time. I was working from home, and I had CNN on, and I had a few other things on just to see what the outcome was going to be as I was beavering away. And the thing is with Google Trends now, it has this awesome amount of data that it's always had, but it allows you to look at it trends within the last hour, the last 4 hours. So what I did on last Wednesday morning, I think it was about 6 hours before the polls closed, I did this search here, and I said, well, this goes back to 6 hours before the polls closed here, right? So I said, show me the search volumes of the word Trump and the word Clinton over the last 4 hours. And what I saw is the blue line, which was Trump, was way ahead of Clinton. And so then I went back and had a look at some of the other elections, because I've seen this before. I saw this in the last Australian, well, not the last Australian federal election, but the one back in 2013. We have one every year or so. Don't get me started. But when you have a look at this one, this is 2012, so this is Obama and Romney. And what we see here is on election day, the winner spikes. So this is a month or 30 days prior to actual election day. This is election day here. And the same applies to Obama and McCain in 2008. Same thing. Obama way ahead of McCain there. And then Bush-Kerry way back in 2004, Bush just trampled Kerry for search volume. Now you can go into a lot of things on a lot of machinations and say, what the hell does this mean? It's just people searching for a name. I don't know what it means. All I'm telling you is that the person who searches spike on election day, wins the election. And I mean, it makes some sense. So you can say, well, I just want to look at what was that thing that my candidate said about that. Maybe they've already made up their mind and they just want confirmation of a few things. Maybe that's what's going on with the search volumes. But what I couldn't believe is how many polls got this whole result wrong, whereas all they had to do was go and look at Google Trends and they would have found out what was going to happen. And this is the last 30 days for the two searches, Clinton-Trump. Now, there are variations of this where you can look at, say, the full names, or you can look at the full names and then also pick a category. So, for instance, if you're searching for the horse, are you looking for a watch or are you looking for an actual horse? So one's a brand name, the other one's an animal. So what categories allows you to do is drill down into those areas which you think might be more appropriate to the thing that you're looking for. So this is just every category in the United States over the last 30 days from election day. So what you can see there quite clearly is Trump spiking, winning on the day. This here is a presidential debate, this spike here, and this little blip here is when the FBI wrote a letter to members of Congress saying about the FBI investigation. That's what this blip here is. This is the thing apparently that Clinton is saying lost the election. So, I don't know about that, but searchers, they had that blip and then searchers just seem to do that. But you can see here, up and up it goes. Now the thing here is that you can go and look, and you can go and look at all these things, and I've got this search going here, just remove that one. And even if you go back for the last year, Trump has always been ahead in search volume, which to me says something about celebrity. You know, just basically, this is the graph here. This is the last 12 months. So here we've got actual specific people. So we've got labels here where Google knows that this is actually Donald Trump, the candidate for President of the United States. It's not, some Donald Trump, a monkey or whatever. And you can see here, candidate for president. So these were both done on election day. So they were still labelled as candidate for president. Hillary Clinton's label is now former US Secretary. So if you have a look back here, we can see Bernie Sanders rising up. It looks like he was going to overtake Trump. And this is when the Democratic National Convention basically sent out an email to all its members saying we thank him for his service, and then his volumes just dribbled away. And you can see, clearly the presidential debates and everything else. But, the race seemed to be lost in that last, well, they say the last week, but really, Clinton didn't really survive after the week of 11th to the 17th of September, really. Then if you look at search volume as the criteria that you were going to win, and for the sake of this exercise, we are, Clinton really lost about here. And then it just really struggled to get back. Now, I haven't had a look to see what actually happened here, but the main spike that Trump gets was on the 5th of November, massive spike. Now, I haven't worked out why. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The only thing I can find that comes close to that date was the FBI saying everything was okay now. But it's quite extraordinary, the data that you can get from Google Trends. And not only that, you can go into Google Trends, and if the Democratic National Convention had to use this a little bit more, they probably would have been able to see, where they needed to spend more time. So you can see here, these are the searches for Clinton. You can see here, the search interest is low in some of these states when compared to the ones that she won in, but even in California, where it was a landslide, basically. Florida had more searches for her name. So it's hard to know, because all of these things are relative. These are all relative volumes, right? So this up here is 100, and then this is basically a relative volume to 100. So it's not like you can get these states where it's 73, and it's just comparing volume against the states. So if a state is more populous, it might have more search volume, if that makes sense. And then you can start to see some of the related queries. Now, the interesting thing, one of the things I've learned about Google Trends through this process is that these related queries don't necessarily relate to this date that I have selected. They relate to the actual search phrase itself. So even though I've selected 30 days prior to the election day, I'm still getting searches here that have happened after those dates. So clearly, people weren't looking for the concession speech on election day. So, and then you can start to go and click into some of those things and find out more information. But the data that you can glean from Google Search Console now, I mean, you can even go, just show me over the past hour how many searches for Clinton and Trump that we are getting. And you can see there, it's back to what it was. It's even higher than what it was on election day. But it's quite extraordinary how you actually can tap into the zeitgeist simply by using a cool tool like Google Trends. I've just got to work out a way for it to get my lotto numbers, and I'll be a happy man. Hopefully that's helpful. We'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.